themes.
I dreamed of giving the world God's so carefully guarded secret, the miracle of life. This was Dr. Frankenstein's extravagant dream. He set out to reproduce the most complex of all machines, man. At a time when scientists announce the prospect of the duplication of an individual, is the nightmare now becoming reality? Since its invention, the motion picture camera, that fantastic machine for capturing life in images, has projected our wildest dreams and most primitive fears on the big screen. Frankenstein's monster is the icon for a long line of artificial creatures made by man in his own image. But in taking himself for God, hasn't the mad scientist risked his own destruction? The machine will die by the machine. Such is the fate of James Cameron's Terminator, a descendant from a long line of robots, pure products of the industrial era, which proliferated to free man from a repetitive labor. Faster, more efficient than a worker, but above all, indefatigable. The first robots were mechanical slaves capable of doing the work of several men. But even in this primitive form, the machine was already becoming a menace. We thought it would bring progress and abundance. Soon we were wondering if man could keep up with the frantic pace set by his own invention, without risking becoming a machine himself. Despite Chaplin's brave resistance in modern times, industrial mechanization continued to generate massive unemployment. Man created the robot, but the robot would replace man. Robot, from the Czech robota, meaning forced labor. The word was invented in 1921 by the playwright Karel Čapek, referring to artificial beings created to liberate the proletariat. In the Soviet film adaptation of Čapek's theater piece RUR, the robot's inventor expounds on his dream. Man will no longer have work, but work will no longer exist. Everything will be done by machines. Man will be able to devote himself to what he loves. He will finally be the master of creation.
There are only 4 inhabitants on Saturn III. One of them is not human.
Before becoming a threat, as in Saturn III, the movie robot was for a long time our friend.
At your service.
Like Robbie, the metallic roly-poly pal in Forbidden Planet. This robot utopia, freeing us from all degrading tasks, had its golden age in science fiction movies after the Second World War.
Oh, he looks alive.
Robot worker, robot servant, robot cop. The aim was always to serve man. It's the guilt-free dream come true. A perfectly subservient slave. It's only a machine.
Good. New acquisitions. You are a protocol droid, are you not?
I am C-3PO human
Yes or
body.
no will do.
Oh, well, yes.
How many languages do you speak?
I am fluent in over 6 million forms of communication and can readily...
Splendid. We have been without an interpreter since our master got angry with our last protocol droid and disintegrated him.
Disintegrated?
Worthy heirs to the congenial robots of the 50s, R2-D2 and C-3PO became cult heroes in Star Wars.
You'll be malfunctioning within a day, you nearsighted scrap pile.
Star Wars.
When George Lucas went back and filmed the first of the Star Wars stories 16 years later, R2-D2 and C-3PO's predecessors benefited from more recent cinema technology. Digitally mass-produced robots could now supply endless battalions of well-disciplined extras.
Activate the droids.
Yes, sir.
Ouch time.
Transforming the dream into reality. Indeed, this is what unites the film director and the mad scientist. Breathing life into dead matter, bringing movement to the inanimate. In the Pinocchio story, the puppet carved out of wood by the craftsman Geppetto is transformed into a boy. He leaves the world of objects for the world of man. His desire to become fully human is greater than his creator's dream.
Go away. I feel happy here.
I'm sorry you're not the real boy.
No. You're real to me, my son. You're real to me.
The American professor, Rodney Brooks, is one of the pioneers of evolutionary robotics. For this modern-day Geppetto, the ultimate goal is to create a robot capable of learning and evolving with the real world around it. Brooks believes this confrontation with real life will generate intelligence at the heart of the machine.
One night, the physical robot actually moved. I mean, it was what I was working on for days, but it completely surprised me. It moved. When I switched the things on, the lights flashed and the machine came to life.
solve the mystery of life by attempting to reproduce it. Rodney Brooks's objective isn't that far removed from the dream of Rotvan, the mad scientist in Metropolis. His dream of a perfect replica becomes reality when he succeeds in infusing both the personality and the physical appearance of a real woman into his mechanical robot. Robot Maria, a veritable icon of the android, would also become the first replicant in the history of cinema. Westworld's perfect human replicas are designed to fulfill our most forbidden fantasies.
Your attention, please. We will soon be landing at Westworld, the ultimate resort. Each resort is maintained by reliable computer technology and peopled by lifelike robot men and women. Our robots are programmed to provide you with an unforgettable vacation.
Let's stand by.
Inside this huge adult theme park, just a little more sinister than one for children, grown-ups can shoot down robots without remorse.
All this in complete safety.
You say something, boy.
Kill him.
Your move.
We know you'll enjoy your stay in Westworld.
Hold it.
The ultimate resort.
Let me do it this time.
Where nothing can possibly go wrong.
I'm shot.
Go wrong.
Raw.
Go wrong.
Oh my God.
The new generation of humanoid robots was the death knell for the congenial robots of the 50s. A more than perfect replica of a Superman, the machine had definitively moved on from the condition of slavery.
What's this? Roy Batty. Probably the leader.
In Blade Runner, the word replicant appears for the first time in film.
In a city of 160.
It identifies a new generation of worker robots, virtually identical to humans, but with a lifespan limited to 4 years. Following a bloody mutiny, they have to be eliminated. Now the nightmare is how to tell the copy from the original.
To die.
The slave robot is now the thinking robot. Consequently, the replicant wants the same thing as man, to live. By giving his creature consciousness and autonomy, man courts his own destruction.
Three billion human lives ended on August 29th, 1997. The survivors of the nuclear fire called the war Judgment Day. They lived only to face a new nightmare, the war against the machines.
Producing weapons of mass destruction to guarantee peace. The spiral of technological warfare is a reality. In confiding his destiny to some sort of mechanical alien, man has created a new nightmare, the loss of control.
Aliens.
5 meters, man.
I shouldn't tell you this, Mandrake, but you're a good officer and you have a right to know. It looks like we're in a shooting war.
Oh.
The prospect of an accidental triggering of technological war haunts us. This sword of Damocles is seized by Kubrick's soft-spoken, a very man, Dr. Strangelove.
I was under the impression that I was the only one in authority to order the use of nuclear weapons.
That's right, sir. Dr. Strangelove.
Missile still deflecting. Range 1 mile. Start lever to cut off. Cut off. Engine power.
Or how I learned to stop worrying and
love the bomb.
Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal. Hello, Hal, do you read me? Hello, Hal, do you read me? Do you read me, Hal? Do you read me, Hal? Hello, Hal, do you read me? Hello, Hal, do you read me? Do you read me, Hal?
Affirmative, Dave. I read you.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hal.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me. And I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen.
Where the hell did you get that idea, Hal?
Dave, although you took very thorough precautions in the pod against my hearing you, I could see your lips move.
All right, Hal. I'll go in through the emergency airlock.
Without your space helmet, Dave, you're going to find that rather difficult.
Hal, I won't argue with you anymore. Open the doors.
Dave, this conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
In his story, which inspired Kubrick's 2001, A Space Odyssey, Arthur C. Clarke wrote, "The only way to discover the limits of the possible is to go beyond them into the impossible." Thus he sums up all of human enterprise. By continually attempting the impossible, will man one day create a machine that surpasses the capacity of the human brain? Luckily, the 2001 fiction still seems to be far in advance of the present. But if our computers are still far from having a soul, man himself is at the dawn of a major change. For the first time in history, man is at a point where scientific progress allows him the hope of determining his own evolution. Transplants, nanotechnology, cloning. Man's mutation will probably be more rapid than the humanization of the machine. The robot of the future will not be with or against man, but inside him. Always one step ahead, movie makers will be the first explorers of these new lands.
alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Is Dr. Frankenstein's dream now within our reach? Science claims that man will soon be able to perfect, program, or reproduce at will the most complex of all machines. Man himself.
We have separation. Inboard and outboard, they're on. Coming, Roger. I've got a blowout. Paper 3. Get your pitch to 0. Pitches out. I can't hold altitude. Correction. Alpha hold is off. Trap she's break.
Man created machines which destroy him, but other machines will repair the damage caused by the first ones. This is the remodeling of the human body by modern technology. Metal prostheses and artificial implants are gradually invading our bodies. The coming revolution is one of transplants, combining the technological and the living. So that man can function at the same speed as the new machines, new motors will have to be introduced into his body. The robot of the future is already here. He's bionic, meaning technologically modified. A new dream, new images, those of a patched-together Superman.
Astronaut, a man barely alive.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man. Steve Austin will be that man. Better than he was before. Better, stronger, faster.
RoboCop, a cyborg icon, an ironic vision of the man of the future, a policeman improved by mechanical replacements and digital implants.
We get the best of both worlds.
Much more efficient, hardly more friendly.
He's not a guy, he's a machine.
What are they gonna do, replace us?
Murphy.
You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. Anything you say may be used against you. You better back up, pal! Your move, creep.
Block. There! The bug's in your skull.
What would you do if you discovered somebody stole your mind?
Arrest that woman!
Who the hell am I?
You erased your identity and implanted a new one.
Man reprogrammed. Fiction or reality? In 30 years, the electronic equivalent of our brain might be smaller than a fingertip. Nanotechnology will enable us to attach a silicon chip to a neuron. Cinema can take it from there. Human intelligence hugely expanded and implanted silicon memory, opening the doors to infinity. But also the manipulation of reason and the distortion of perception and consciousness.
Yeah, here, right here. See, there's some kind of coil or self-contained power supply built right into it. Amazing. This brain is still alive.
Woody Allen can run, but he cannot hide. We're already in the techno-organic era. In David Cronenberg's Crash, the protagonists can only find pleasure among crumpled sheets of metal. The two lines of descent, human and mechanical, meet in erotic fusion.
Is this part of the act, or are they really hurt?
I don't know. You can never be sure with Vaughn. This is his show.
Metal and silicon have penetrated our flesh. But chips and pacemakers are only the beginning of the artificial stimulation introduced into our bodies. The Japanese film Tetsuo heralds a future in which metal and flesh are already combined. It will soon be impossible to distinguish biological from electronic systems. Stimulator chips connected to our neurons will introduce our bodies to new kinds of perception. In David Cronenberg's existence, cables and electronic consoles are replaced by organic material made from living tissue.
You're gonna pour it into me while I'm paralyzed?
You wanted to play my game, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I do, but here, now?
It's an instant-on world, isn't it?
What's that for? Feels cold.
The ports are sometimes a bit tight. Wouldn't want to hurt you.
How come bioports don't get infected? I mean, they open right into your body.
Listen to what you're saying, Michael. Don't be ludicrous.
Artificial stimulation is the death of reality. In numerous films, a new system has been predicted, a virtuality directly connected to the nervous system. The body becomes the interface, and the brain the hard disk. Is the body on its way out? To be replaced by pure sensation?
Beautiful.
love your eyes, Lenny. I love the way they see.
To be alone, like the heroine in Cairo, but to remain connected to the world. To be close and at the same time absent. Telepresent man wants to be in one place while physically in another, acting in both. Ubiquity, immediacy, omnipresence, omniscience. With teletechnologies, what were once divine attributes now become man's. We want to play God while still remaining human. The dream is a great network, transforming the planet into one giant brain, connecting our billions of tiny brains. But even a virtual God is a threatening one. This electronic network, a new interface for human intelligence? Isn't there a risk that once it becomes autonomous, it might replace us?
Hey, Gwen, you want some coffee?
No, thanks. How about a beer?
Yeah, right. Hey, I got a full house.
That's good, Louis.
Must be my lucky day.
Since the digital revolution began, the wizards of cinema have constantly pushed back the frontiers of the possible. To make the T-1000 appear like a ball of mercury that can take on the shape of any living organism, the special effects genies first had to digitize the actor dot by dot, before duplicating and programming him at will. But thanks to genetic technology, perhaps man will be able to do the same thing with humans. From one coding system to another, the letters of the genome replace the zeros and the ones of digital coding. In the age of cloning, the mystery of life is a simple formula which can be decoded. Hence, man will enter the world of machines, becoming an industrial product, patented and programmed at will.
Very impressive.
I'd hoped you would be pleased. Clones can think creatively. you will find that they are immensely superior to droids. We take great pride in our combat education and training programs. This group was created about 5 years ago.
You mentioned growth acceleration.
Oh yes, it's essential. Otherwise a mature clone would take a lifetime to grow. Now we can do it in half the time.
I see.
They are totally obedient, taking any order without question. We modified their genetic structure to make them less independent than the original host.
What are little boys made of? Nails and snails and puppy dogs' tails. That's what little boys are made of. What are little girls made of? What are little girls made of? Sugar and spice and everything nice. That's what little girls are made of.
In vitro fertilization, test tube babies, reproductive cloning. The recipes for life continue to multiply. In Gattaca, a genetically selected elite dominates those born by natural means, excluding them from all responsibility.
Whether it's a girl or a boy.
We would want Vincent to have a brother, you know, to play with.
Of course you would. Hello, Vincent. You have specified hazel eyes, dark hair, and fair skin. I've taken the liberty of eradicating any potentially prejudicial conditions. Premature baldness, myopia, alcoholism and addictive susceptibility, propensity for violence, obesity, etc.
We didn't want, I mean, diseases, yes, but...
Right. We were just wondering if it's good to just leave a few things to chance.
You want to give your child the best possible start. Believe me, we have enough imperfection built in already. No, your child doesn't need any additional burdens. And keep in mind, this child is still you. Simply the best of you. You could conceive naturally 1,000 times and never get such a result.
The cinema heralds a world in which man will be able to choose his life from a catalogue, his education, home, spouse, children. By designing a laboratory child to resemble him, man lets loose the Narcissus sleeping inside. In replicating ourselves, we end up in a nightmare world.
Malkovich, Malkovich. Malkovich, Malkovich, Malkovich. Malkovich, Malkovich. Malkovich. Malkovich! Malkovich. 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 Malkovich.
Man has always pushed back the frontiers of the possible at the risk of burning his wings. He mastered stone and then iron. He's mastered space and has begun to understand time. He's learned how to travel faster and faster until able to fly like the birds. Across the centuries, he's constructed machines ever more powerful and more intelligent, in the perhaps conscious hope that one day they'd end up resembling him, eventually becoming autonomous and acquire a language. But how much further do we want machines to go? Do we want them to do without us? That they wish us well? That they like us? They'll need a consciousness then, if not a soul. and would know how to love us. This dream hides perhaps a secret desire brilliantly revealed by Fellini, that of the lovable other, wholly consenting and submissive, a dream of robotic love.
I didn't care more than
Do androids dream of electric sheep? Behind the title of Philip K. Dick's famous short story and inspiration for Blade Runner lies the eternal question, could a robot have a soul?
would I feel this way if this isn't love?
In Blade Runner, some of the replicants seem to have more humanity, more capacity for love than the humans themselves.
I didn't care for
Trust me.
The renowned artificial intelligence researcher Raymond Kurzweil claims that in the near future, machines will experience something close to human emotions. In prosaic terms, this would mean processing at a rate of 20,000 trillion calculations per second. Could we then connect a biochemical camera to one of these improbable machines and come up with the ultimate movie experience? Our very own dream images on a vast screen in glorious color.
A cacophony of brainwaves transformed into a symphony of colors and shapes. Biochemical images. If I were Sam, this would feel like honey. Music of the spheres.
This is so beautiful.
Beautiful. Wallpaper is beautiful. You're now looking at the human soul, singing to itself, to its own God.
I don't know about God.
But the God within us. Look at it. It needs nothing.
It needs everything.
Oh, nothing, nothing, dear.
It will eat us up alive.
Never.
We should really stop this.
Stop it. How could we stop it? This is all we've ever wanted. This is what we feed on. How could we ever turn away from this?
We don't have the right.
The absence of love is the worst suffering there is. Fellini comments regarding his Casanova. The human marionette can only fall in love with an automaton. Between the mechanical man and the human doll, which is the double? If man has created a machine in his own image, the machine can only be his reflection, neither good nor bad. The machine is what we want it to be. The mirror of our dreams.